Hey, what's up, guys? It's Djorden Santos. I'm back with another UFC prediction video. This time, UFC 313, Pereira versus Ankalaev. This event goes down Saturday, March 8th, 2025. Prelims begin at 6 p.m. It's going down from Las Vegas, Nevada, T-Mobile Arena. So far, they have 10 fights added to this card. I'm sure they'll probably bulk it up to around 13 or 14. Again, the fight that we've long waited to see as the main event. But let's get into it, guys. This card is looking great. King Green, formerly known as Bobby Green, going up against Mauricio Ruffy. Ruffy, this guy, he's looked good in all his fights. 28 years old, 6-fight winning streak, 11-1. Wins over James Lyonth, Jamie Malarkey, and it was on the Contender Series. And they're going up against King Green. The UFC's, I think the UFC's kind of saying they're done building King Green up, and now he's going to fight the prospects. He just fought Patty, lost that prospect test. Now it's back down the ladder. He's facing Mauricio Ruffy here. And I think Ruffy's probably going to finish him, man. Bobby Green's probably a little slower on the feet. Ruffy's showing he can go the decision. Again, he's going to have to watch out for King Green's, submissions. But I think Mauricio Ruffy probably does get him out of there in round 1. Chris Gutierrez against Gene Matsumoto. Again, I got Matsumoto here. Let's take a look at it. He's 15-0, or 16-0, I should say. Beat Brad Katona in his last fight. Dan Argueta. Then was on the Contender Series. He's looked really good. Going up against Chris Gutierrez. He's got great calf kicks. He's on a 1-fight winning streak. Beat Quang Lee. Lost to Yadong Song by decision. In this fight prior to that, which was the main event. But my pick will be Matsumoto. Joshua Van against Bruno Silva. Bruno Silva, he took a beating in his last fight against Manel Kape. Beat Cody Durden before that, but he took a beating in that fight as well. And now he's going up against Joshua Van, who has looked good in my opinion. He's on a 2-fight winning streak. He has been fighting often, man. Beat Cody Durden, beat Edward Chaez. Lost to Charles Johnson. Again, he got caught in that fight. But, he fought 4 times in 2024, 3-1 in 2024. I'm going to side with the more active fighter here in Joshua Van to pick up the win. Mairon Santos against Francis Marshall. Again, Francis Marshall, I don't think the UFC thinks too high of him. He's on a 1-fight winning streak. Beat Dennis Bazooka by split decision. Losses over Dogarian and Gomes prior to that. Again, 2 tough fights. So no shame in losing there. Mairon Santos, I believe he was on the Contender Series, 4-fight winning streak. No, he was on the Ultimate Fighter. He's coming off a win over Khan Ofli. Left hook to ground strikes. I think he looked really good in that fight, if I can remember. I'm going to side with Mairon Santos here to pick up the win. Alex Morano against Carlos Leal. I have Leal picked here. He's on a 1-fight losing streak. Lost to Renat. We know how good Renat is, but I kind of think, and probably a lot of people, we think Leal won that fight, man. That was a really close fight. I think I had Leal winning at 29-28. He looked really good in that fight. Morano, 2-fight losing streak. Really hasn't looked that good. Lost to Daniel Rodriguez by split decision. He didn't look good at all in that Price fight. Lost to Price. And I think the UFC is going to get Carlos Leal a win here. Ozzy Diaz against Djorden Santos. Again, Ozzy Diaz, I believe he's coming off a loss, if I can remember. He's fighting at 185, no, not 205. Yeah, lost to Zhang. I believe that was at 205. So he's dropping down to 185. Djorden Santos, 5-fight winning streak, 27 years old. Beat Will Curry on the Contender Series. So he's got a lot of decision wins. I'm going to side with Santos here, though, to pick up the win. Bruno Pereira against Petrosyan. I'm not really high on Bruno Pereira, man. I think he relies on power. You know, I think he's kind of small for the weight class. He's a short, stocky build. Lost to Abus Magomedov. I just think Magomedov he had all the physical tools to beat Bruno Pereira, and he did. Abus, you know, taller guy, longer reach, better grappling. So again, and I thought Stolfus was hurting him too before he caught him with a spinning back fist or something, a spinning elbow. So again, I'm not really high on Bruno Pereira. Petrosyan, I think he is a good kickboxer. He is coming off a couple losses. Hopefully he fights more active. Lost to Sharo Magomedov. Magomedov caught him with a spinning back fist. Double spinning back fist. Bruno Pereira, I mean, again, I think Petrosyan is the better fighter. So I'm going to pick Petrosyan. Lemos against Jasmine Lucindo. And I'm picking Lemos, man. I think she should have won the Janaroba fight. She just kept playing around in Janaroba's guard, you know, or whatever, or letting Janaroba take her down, if I can remember. But I think Lemos had a huge advantage striking, but she didn't go there. So I think that was Lemos' fight to lose, and she lost it. You know, she just has not shown a high fight IQ so far in the UFC, in my opinion. But I think she is a talented fighter nonetheless. Lucindo, I believe she used takedowns to beat Marina Rodriguez, and she did. That was a tough fight to score. I didn't like the way she pulled off that win. So, you know, she's 4-1 since making her debut. Lost her UFC debut to Yasmin Uruguay. So I am going to side with Lemos here to get the win. Justin Gaethje against Dan Hooker. Again, both guys have taken a lot of damage. Gaethje, it'd be in his best interest to utilize those calf kicks. I still don't think that's going to slow Dan Hooker down. I think Dan Hooker has more power in his hands. I think Dan Hooker has the better grappling. And again, these guys both have good cardio, but I just think Dan Hooker, he's really shown himself to be a really good 155er. I think Dan Hooker is going to get a knockout or submission win here, possibly a decision. But coming off a nice win over Mateus Gamrot, which he deserved to win. Beat Jalen Turner, Claudio, all good wins, man. Ever since he returned to lightweight, he's got a big frame. I don't know how he made featherweight, but he did. But he's looked good at 55. Gaethje has not fought since losing to Max Holloway. Took a lot of damage in that fight. Got knocked out. So, again, I'm going to side with Dan Hooker here for the win. Alex Pereira against Magomed Ankalaev. Again, this is the only fight, one of the only fights that has betting odds so far. Currently, it's a pick 'em. I'm going to side with Ankalaev. I just think he's the more well-rounded fighter. I do think Pereira was possibly ducking him, or the UFC was allowing Pereira to take other fights at light heavyweight. Ankalaev, he's been due this title shot for a long time, in my opinion. You know, ever since he went to that draw with Blakovic at the end of 2022, he hasn't had a title shot. So it's been over 2 years. This guy deserves the fight for the title. Ankalaev, I don't think he's going to be scared of Pereira's power. He's going to be pressuring him the whole time, landing takedowns, striking in his face. Maybe Pereira catches him. Maybe Pereira was able to get up from his takedowns. But I just think Ankalaev is on another level. And I think Ankalaev is going to become the new light heavyweight champion. So let's go over it, guys. My picks. I am siding with Ankalaev. Hooker, Lemos, Petrosyan, Santos, Leal. Santos. Mairon Santos. Van, Matsumoto, and Ruffy.